Hi, my name is Tamara, and you are watching Things Even a Monkey Should Know. Hello, hello! Thank you so much for watching again today. As you know, if you've watched some of my other videos, I'm not a professional anything except artist, but I have figured out there are a number of things around my house and out in the yard and on my cars that I can do myself, and often save myself time, money, and aggravation. Today, we're going to look at what I think is the very last thing on these cranky old doors, and that is going to be weather stripping. What is weather stripping, you may ask? Just in case you don't know, it is this strip of vinyl or rubber or something mushy, sometimes foam, that goes around a door or a window and helps to keep out the wind and in some cases the rain, depending on where your door or window is located. It's actually pretty important stuff, and it can make or break your air conditioning and heating bills actually. If you have a regular door frame, or if your door came with its own frame, if you have straight lumber around your door, then you can put in this vinyl type of weather stripping. You can buy it in long strips. It doesn't come in rolls, and you have to get it from a hardware store of some sort. This stuff is great because it has a little more squish and flex to it, which means that you're going to have an even better seal, and we are definitely looking to get the best seal possible. You can see this runs all the way down the edge of this door, and it runs all the way around it. And then of course we have a door sweep on the bottom of this door, which fully seals it from the elements out there, or seals us in and the elements out. If you have a door like the one that I just showed you that is regular on all sides, yay you, that means that you can get that wonderful vinyl weather stripping, which I feel like is probably the best weather stripping you can get. It seems to seal things out the best, and it has a lot of give. So if you had a little bit bigger gap, a lot of times you can fix it with that vinyl stripping. It is more expensive, keep that in mind. So if you either don't want to spend the money on that, which I could totally get, or if you have what I have, which is a very irregular door frame, up here at the top there is pretty much no room between the edge of the frame and this door. But if we pan down to the middle of the door, starting right about somewhere in here, I can feel air coming in, and there's actually a gap I can almost fit my finger into. So I need something that is fairly flexible, because this gap gets wider and smaller, and I can see that it's because the board is kind of a zigzaggy board, so that was a great idea to use that to frame up a set of doors. But that's okay, because we're going to fix it now. Now, there is one other type of weather stripping besides vinyl and rubber that is fairly common, and it is foam weather stripping. And I am not going to use that because, number one, it's for fairly large openings, but also foam doesn't last very long, so it's going to start to deteriorate and or disintegrate within a couple of years. And I would rather do the rubber, because rubber should last for about 10 years at least. And vinyl, I don't know, because I haven't had to replace one of those yet, but they seem to last almost forever. Now we're to the first things first. This seems so out of order today because we usually go over this first. Now you're gonna think I'm crazy for this first thing, but you need to have some incense, and I don't care what kind it is. It can be the kind that sits on a little charcoal briquette and burns. It can be a stick, it can be a cone. You just need to have something that will smoke for 5 to 10 minutes, because we're going to need that. I promise, you'll see. You're going to need something to light that with, obviously. Now you're going to need your weather stripping. And I have a couple different sizes. Actually, I think I have 3. That's a few different sizes of weather stripping, because I have multiple sizes of gaps. But as you can see very helpfully on the package, they give you a general idea of what this weather stripping will cover. And this one does somewhere. Okay, well, maybe it is on the back. Anyway, most of the time they're going to give you a general idea. And I tend to have a small, medium, and large package because my gaps seem to vary so much in this house. Now there's also, I have the self-adhesive weather stripping. Your temperature outside has to be 40 degrees or above, which right now we are, and otherwise your weather stripping will not stick. Now they do sell rubber weather stripping rolls like this that are nail-in. The only reason I can see that you might want to get a nail-in is if you are installing this and it is too cold for you to use the adhesive kind. Otherwise, if you can use the adhesive, I've used the nail-in just to do it. It's not very much fun. And the adhesive on these is actually pretty good, and I've not had any trouble with it holding, so that's what I would recommend. You're also going to need something to cut that with. I think that's it. Well, we are going to use our Incense first, because let's say that you just moved into a house or an apartment and you know that it's drafty, but you don't know where it's coming from. Well, if you have this nice little smoky thing, which it's really funny, usually these are really smoky and this one is not, which is not terribly helpful, but hopefully you have something smokier. If you use this and if you light it, whatever, and you turn off your air, you turn off all the fans, the smoke from this should go straight up. There shouldn't be anything moving around. Now, if you take it near your windows and doors, you will start to see movement. If there's an air leak, if there is no air leak, it'll continue to go straight up once you have stood still for, a few seconds, let everything settle back down. So if I put this into this corner right here, which I already know has an air leak because I have previously done this, then I see, and I can actually feel a draft coming toward me, but I can see that the smoke is being blown toward me slightly. So I know for sure that there is a leak here. I used this method in my previous house that I lived in, that y'all have seen in other videos, because I couldn't figure out, all the windows were stationary, they're fixed, you couldn't open them. And that made me assume that they were all sealed in. And as it turned out, every single one of them was leaking air around the edges. So that was what let me know that I need to caulk every single window to close up all those air leaks. And it made a huge difference in my electric bill and in my comfort level. So go do this now if you haven't already done it. And then we'll get back to weather stripping. Well, how, you may ask, do you know how big of a gap you have? In my case, I can't exactly measure because my gaps vary. Normally, you should be able to stick a tape measure or even, say, a ruler into your gap area, and you should be able to measure and tell approximately how big that gap is so you know what size weather stripping to buy. Now, again, I tend to have multiple sizes because I am constantly finding more places that I need to apply this stuff. Now, it's really fun, actually, whenever you open this. I know that sounds crazy, but it comes in rolls typically like this, so it's double rolls. So you just tear these apart, and it's kind of satisfying. And even though this is really tight up here at the top, I'm going to go ahead and start this up at the top. I won't be wasting very much if I have to pull it down, but ideally, I would love to have this entire door covered with this stuff. And I'm going to put it down in the corner because that is where the air really seems to be getting in. I'm going to test this and see if it closes. Sometimes they won't close. Oh my gosh, it closed. Well, now the next question is, if we go inside, did we seal it all the way? Well, the wind is blowing, but it is no longer blowing into the house. And that was like a 30-second fix, right? That is pretty awesome. And that weather stripping, I stuck it back in that corner and I can't see it, which is perfectly fine with me because I feel like if I could see it, then it would re-emphasize the waviness of the wood frame, but it also allows the door to close, which is great because now that tells me that I can probably run weather stripping all the way around this set of doors, and the doors should still be able to close, and I'm going to totally block out the wind from coming in here ever again. You do want to be sure to double check that all your locks still work. Everything works. I can shut the doors fine, they open and close fine. If they didn't, then that means that you've got somewhere that's too tight. So either you need smaller weather stripping or you may need to cut out that area. This is one of those things that it took me way longer to tell you about than it's actually going to take you to do it, because it'll probably take you all of 2 minutes, maybe not even that long. And it'll save you so much grief and hopefully quite a bit of money on your heating and cooling bills, because now you're not going to have air coming in or going out where it shouldn't. And maybe, I don't know, bugs, who knows, whatever else likes to come in around windows and doors. Thank you so much for joining me again today. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and do that now. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.